Hey everyone, welcome to the Insurance Wise Guys podcast. My name is Mike Lewis, insurance agency owner of Archibald & Lewis Insurance and your Insurance Wise Guy. On today's episode of Know, Like, and Trust, we have Senior Officer of the Indiana Excise Police and the Ossian Fire Chief, Ben Fenstermaker. Let me introduce to you a Senior Officer of the Indiana State Excise Police, where he also serves as a firearms instructor. A firefighter and EMT at the Southwest Fire District. He is also the current fire chief of the Ossian Fire Department. Basically, this guy is on call for the public 24/7 and is definitely a frontline first responder. Everyone help me welcome Chief Ben Fenstermaker. Ben, how's it going?
It's going wonderful.
Yep. So talk to me about, well, first, let's find out if you are an iPhone guy or an Android guy.
Android 100%.
Android?
People that have iPhones are stupid.
Okay, well, we'll let everybody sort that out now, but we know what you're about. So turn back the clock with me and talk to me about how you got started with the Excise Police and just bring me up to speed from that point to today.
So I was honestly, before I was hired with the state, I was actually a medic on Wells County EMS full-time. It's a rewarding job, but there's really nowhere to advance. In EMS, my personal opinion. It's rewarding, but there's no real promotion, that kind of stuff. So I knew I either wanted to be a firefighter or a police officer. Brian Lang was an excise officer, still is. He's down in Seymour District now, but he lived in Ossian. We were friends. He's like, hey, you should apply with us. I did and lucked out and got the job. So I've been there for 15 years, coming up on 15 years. January 6th is actually my anniversary date with the state. But I'd been on the fire department before that. Been on the fire department for 23 years. So actually my senior year in high school started with the fire department. So just kind of have worked both those jobs here for the last 15 years.
Mm-hmm. So explain to me exactly what an excise officer does and the kind of things that you would do on a daily basis or routinely. I'm sure a lot of people don't even know what an excise officer is or does.
Sure, yeah, a lot don't. So the Excise Police, we're the enforcement agency for the Alcohol Tobacco Commission. So any bars, restaurants, gas stations, anyone that sells alcohol or tobacco has to have a permit through the Alcohol Tobacco Commission. The Excise Police, we're the enforcement agency for the Alcohol Tobacco Commission. So we have a kind of a two-part job. Criminal enforcement, where we have full police powers. We can stop cars. We can help local PD on calls. Or we also have the administrative side. So the administrative side is more Monday through Friday stuff, or Monday through Thursday days, where we're checking permits, making sure the bars have permits, making sure the employees have their permits. The Excise Police, we get tasked with a lot of gaming, gambling, that kind of stuff. When I came on, it was really big on Cherry Masters, which are illegal in the state, but a lot of bars, even in here in Bluffton, Ossian, had Cherry Masters. Mm-hmm. So we spent a lot of our time working on Cherry Masters, doing those kind of cases. So like I said, it's through the week when we work, it's more administrative things, checking permits. We're complaint based, so if we get a complaint for sales of tobacco to juveniles, then we'll have to go investigate that. And then on the weekends when we work, it's more criminal enforcement. We're out looking for drunk drivers, looking for minors drinking, come across drug activity a lot. So kind of two completely different roles, but intertwined well. So
two things on that. Cherry Masters, is that still a problem around here or in the state?
In the state, no. We haven't had a Cherry Master complaint for years.
And that's just the losers that complain.
Exactly, that was the losers that complain. It wasn't uncommon for us to get 15, 20 Cherry Masters a night at different bars during the thick of it.
Now, why would that still be a complaint with Indiana having casinos now? Why would Cherry Masters be illegal?
It all really has to do with permit status, and those the casinos and so forth have certain permits.
At a bar doesn't.
And a bar cannot, yeah.
Okay, so tell me about like minor tobacco sales. You get complaints about finding out that kids are buying from a certain location.
Exactly.
What's the process for something like that? Then what can you do? Or because
So-
I'm sure that concerns a lot of parents too. They're
Absolutely.
like,
Yeah, and a lot of our complaints come from parents. A parent will catch their kids smoking. Right now, vape is a big thing. They're not usually doing tobacco, cigarettes, or chew, but it's vape. And we'll get emails. They email our department or call our department and say, "Hey, my kid had vape. He got it from this place in town." Our lieutenant assigns those out per county, basically. Each officer has certain counties that we are in charge of, and then we go out and we'll basically sit on that liquor store or gas station, whoever's the complaint's for, and just watch, see if there's any kids go in and buy anything. Sometimes they do in front of us, and the kid will get a ticket, and then the location will actually see an administrative violation as
so
well.
both of them will get
Both
a
of them
ticket or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So people love stories about that. Talk to me about your favorite cop story or police story or something that happened that was intense or interesting in your career.
Some of the cool things with being with a state agency is we're not stuck in one county, I would say. The Wells County, for instance, great bunch of deputies. They get into a lot of good stuff. But it's still Wells County. Some days are intense. Some days it's a little less. We got to kind of get to go where the wind takes us. So we spent a lot more time in Fort Wayne, Marion, Muncie, some of our bigger cities. So working those bigger cities, you'll get a lot more calls, or we'll get assigned to a different task force. We work with Fort Wayne PD real well, and their street crimes, their gang task force. So we'll get into some of their details, search warrants, special assignments where we're working, especially if they're bar related, they'll call us in. One of our cool ones we had here in the last couple years, it was a makeshift bar in Fort Wayne. It was an underage club. They were serving alcohol, operating like a bar, and we worked with Fort Wayne's gang task force or the street crimes task force, and we just worked stops, making traffic stops, leaving the location, arresting kids, getting probable cause, able to get a search warrant for the location, at these places we had shootings, stabbings. When we went in and served the search warrant, we arrested only a couple people, but we had weapons charges, drugs, people just dropping guns, dropping drugs out. I mean, so those kind of cases are pretty fun when you get those.
So that was in Fort Wayne?
That was in Fort Wayne.
And this was just a pop-up bar? Like they got a location or a house,
Yep.
and they're just like, bring it on.
Bring them in.
Cocktails in paradise.
Absolutely.
And here we go.
Yeah.
So what happens to somebody like that? Did they go to jail? Did they just pay a fine?
So it all depends on the county. Each county is different. That's kind of the downfall of our job. Yes, we get to go to a lot of different places. I work in Indy. We work at Purdue, work at IU. But each county has its own prosecutor. So each county is completely different when it comes to stuff. Allen County, that guy who was running that bar, we charged him with several misdemeanors. He just had, we didn't take him to jail that night. It just misdemeanors. So he was summoned into court. He ended up not showing up to court, so then he had a warrant, so then we picked him up on his warrant.
So tell me about people all over this county have their own bars in their pole barns or their basements. What can they not do so that you don't come take them to jail?
You can have a party at your house and invite people over, and you can give them beer or liquor or whatever at your house all you want. However, you can't set up in your barn, your nice barn out back. You can't set up a bar, have people come over and start selling that alcohol. Yes.
All right. So what about the gambling part? Can I have a poker party?
Absolutely. Again, it's all, if you have your friends over and you guys want to gamble, that's completely fine. It's when you're inviting people in and setting up as a business, then that becomes an issue.
I see. All right, stay clean.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about rivalry, because I find it interesting that you are cop and fire. And there's always been in my mind, an intense rivalry between fire and police. You always see the jokes about the police stuck in the elevator, the firemen's coming to get it out. So there's big rivals there, like IU, Purdue, Red Sox, Yankees, big rivalry. Talk to me about what you see as a rivalry, even just, is there a rivalry around here? Would you say there's a rivalry in the country? Or tell me your thoughts on that, and tell me your thoughts about it around here.
Absolutely. There is. Around here, it's a joking rivalry. I have good friends, for instance, on the Sheriff's Department. A great friend of mine, Chad Bradley. He always calls me a hose dragger, makes fun of me. I always tell him he's a wannabe when they respond to a fire scene. I always ask him how much water he has in his police car, because they always try to beat us. It's a fun rivalry. I don't take it personal. He doesn't take it personal. At the end of the day, I want the officers at my scene, because we've had instances where homeowners are getting crappy with us, or an accident, someone's getting crappy, and it's nice to have that law enforcement officer there. So around here, absolutely, it's all fun. I've been some places where the police and fire don't get along. They don't joke. They don't get along. I don't understand that, because I look at it, we're on the same side.
Yeah.
Typically, when I'm working, my heart's always going to go to the fire side. But if I'm working police, I'll make fun of the firemen. If I'm on a fire truck, I'll make fun of the cops.
All right. Okay. Well, let's talk strictly about the fire department. You are the fire chief in Ossian, the guy, the guy in charge, ultimately responsible for everything. The buck stops with you. Tell me about your department. And what I mean by that is, it's a volunteer department, so there is minimal compensation for the work that's done. How do you get guys that are trained? How do you keep guys that are trained that are willing to work for free?
I don't know. So if you can figure that out, let me know. And every fire chief in the area would want to know that. Ossian has been pretty lucky over the years. When I came on, we had 6 come on. Together, there's only 2 of us left. Daryl Reynolds and I came on at the same time.
Now, what year was that, though?
1998.
Okay.
We came on. We've had a huge turnover since then, and you don't really notice it until you sit down and look at the numbers. But we've had a really big turnover over the years. Our core group of guys, I've always believed that we don't just put people on. Some departments just fill with warm bodies to get their numbers up, and I don't like doing that. I would rather be picky and get those who I think are gonna really stay with us. Sometimes I'm wrong. We've had some who I thought were gonna be awesome and just haven't been around, and it's not for everyone. And I've had some that I thought, I don't know if how they're gonna be, and they turn out awesome. So it's definitely hard to get people to come up and volunteer. We have monthly trainings, we have monthly meetings that they're required to attend. Our runs, we're up, I just finished out 2020, we had 183 runs for the year. That averaged out to 1.9 every 1.9 days, so one every other day. Sometimes, we'll go a week and a half without a run, and some days we'll have 2 or 3 in a day. It's a lot to ask of the guys. But overall, we have 27 members. Overall, we have a good core, and really everyone takes their turn and shows up at a pretty decent amount.
What would you say is the biggest challenge in the fire industry as a whole right now? I mean, I'll come back to the fact that you have a volunteer-based department. Those guys have to go through the same training as a full-time person. So that's a lot of time commitment right there, I would assume. But what do you think in the fire service as a whole, and not just volunteer, would be the biggest challenge going on today?
Really, I think the training, just that initial training. If you're you get hired with a career department, you have a 8-month year academy. Now you're getting paid during that time, which is great, but it's still a hard academy. I think Fort Wayne, they hire maybe 20 or 30 at a time in their academy class, and they have some that don't make it throughout that academy. On the volunteer side, our guys, they have 6 months of training before they can even respond on a run, and that's the hardest thing. They're not really having fun. They're not getting going to runs.
Hard to keep them motivated then?
It is hard to keep them motivated, and just people's home lives. I came on, I was single in high school. I didn't do anything. I didn't go out and party, so I was up at the fire station all the time. Now you get someone who has 2 young kids or a couple young kids, a wife at home. She's not happy if they're gone 2-3 nights extra a week for class, then runs on top of it. It's hard to keep people, and I get it. My wife gets frustrated with me when I have to leave. If I have meetings, I have several meetings a month at night that I have to go on, and then runs. Yeah, she gets frustrated with me, definitely.
Being in charge, it is an obligation, that an oath that you would have taken, that you are going to respond to everything possible that you can.
Yeah.
And I know you put in a group of guys underneath you that if you can't, you feel comfortable still there. But back to being responsible, the buck stopping with you. I understand there's a big debate going on right now about your department and an advisory board telling you what kind of equipment you have to choose and use, regardless of what you and your firefighters, officers want. Tell me what's going on there. To me, it doesn't seem like someone else should be telling you what equipment to use when you have been chosen as the professional to decide that. Talk to me about this. It seems like micromanaging is going on there.
Yeah, it is. And, truly, it doesn't matter if you're the fire chief, the police chief, the superintendent of the water department, of the sewer department. It doesn't matter. A department head is put in place because the town board or a township advisory board or the city's the city board, they're not responsible to know what's going on with the sewer department, with the fire department, with the police department. That's why there's a head of that department. So as a fire chief, it's my responsibility to test equipment, to do the research, to talk to vendors, to talk to other chiefs. I talk to other fire chiefs all the time about radios, about fire trucks, about personnel, about staffing. So, it's my responsibility to know what's going on, what equipment that we need. And I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to take that to my board, either the town board or advisory board from the township, and request their equipment. Town of Ossian is amazing. They've never bucked my requests. Jefferson Township, for the most part, goes along with us good, but there's sometimes that difference of opinions are out there, and it's definitely micromanaging. All it's doing is taking up more time, causing more meetings, and ultimately could cost taxpayers money. I have a budget that I stay within, and I think I'm pretty responsible with money. And if I can get the best deal, I know that if I can get a good deal, then that's more money I'm saving, and then I can spend more money and buy more equipment. So that's how I've ran for 9 years. I've been fire chief. I've always stayed within my budget, never gone over. So hopefully the powers that be can start talking and get things figured out.
I have heard that from town council members before, that when Ben comes to the table with a request, he's already found the best value for his money, the best equipment for his guys. So there usually isn't a denial to be had. So that's got to be frustrating in this situation when, again, you are trying to spend within your budget and get the best product, and you're being denied.
Yeah, it is.
That's crazy. Tell me about the best fire story or best incident that happened in the fire service for you.
Two come to mind. one is obviously energy control. Christmas Eve several years ago, 2015. Energy control in Ossian caught on fire. That was kind of our, that's the place you never want to burn in Ossian. I was an incident commander on that one. We were there 18 hours, 77 firefighters. At one time, we had 7 departments there. We rotated out. I think we had a total of 11 actually make the scene, but we had rotated departments out. Definitely a very challenging role. It was fun as far. I mean, it's something that you don't get to see every day. Pretty stressful. I remember having a pretty bad headache just from that stress, and but exciting run, definitely. Kind of to know that you're the chief of the department in the town's largest fire ever. Kind of a nice thing to be able to say. So that was definitely, incident command, running a fire and being a firefighter inside are 2 completely different things. I love going inside a fire. I don't get to go in very often. Mutual aid calls, I do. When we come down to Bluffton, I got to go inside, and my guys know I'm going in. But running a fire scene is pretty fun. I'd say a pretty good story of when inside a run was down here in Bluffton when the Hideaway caught fire. I just became chief. Yep. And I know I had a couple crews. We were on the backside. Jeff Miller, one of my captains, and we made entry, and then Ed Conant, who was one of my captains, and Adam Haney, who's now a full-time Bluffton firefighter, just started this week. They were on the other crew, and we went in, made entry on that one. Really had no business being inside this fire. There was fire 2 floors above us. We were in the bar, but had massive amounts of fire, massive amount of heat. Our water was coming back just scalding hot. Great time. Really a good time. No business being in there, but we've had several big fires, downtown fires in Bluffton that it's been pretty good time coming in.
You say great time and exciting, so people don't get that wrong. They're jacked up.
Oh, absolutely.
For the situation. Yeah. It's funny you say 18 hours on an energy control fire. So at that time, your firefighter crews that would have been there received $6 for 18 hours of work.
They did.
So that worked out to be 45 cents an hour. So talking about money then, money aside, if you could do anything you wanted to, and you didn't have to worry about money, period. Police, fire, professional beachcomber, what would you do?
I would probably, if I wasn't a career firefighter, which I would love to do, I would take that over a police job any day. I would definitely own something near a beach, like a scuba dive instructor, something along those lines. Down the Caribbean, being on a boat every day, taking people out and scuba diving. That'd be kind of a dream job there.
So you can make several $100,000 a year.
In the warmth.
Yeah. So, all right. So, Ben Fenstermaker, if you need the police or fire and it's an emergency, call 911. Otherwise, look for Ben Fenstermaker in town. Thanks.